Another lovely Wednesday morning, a little overcast here in Philadelphia. I am James Jackson, he, they pronouns, and I am bringing you to another coffee break chat. And here with me, live via Zoom, are T.S. Hawkins and Robin Dorton. Feel free to unmute yourselves. You guys can stay off of mute and just if I need to mute you, I'll mute you. But I don't think I'll need to mute you guys. You guys are awesome. So please introduce yourselves and your pronouns and what it is you do. I'll let T.S. go first.
Hello, good morning, or good evening, depending on who's listening in the room. Hello, my name is T.S. Hawkins. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I am an international author, performance poet, and playwright. So thank you for having me here this morning.
Awesome. And Robin?
Hi, I'm Robin Dorton. She, her, they, them, whatever. Let's see, I guess good morning. And now I'm a crocheter and brand development specialist, former salon owner, hairstylist, to anything James dreamt up for photo shoots and whatnot.
Robin and I have worked on many projects together, and excuse me, T as well, I just changed your bounding box here. There we go. Sorry, you're not centered to your camera, so you weren't showing up great on screen, but now I fixed it. Well, welcome to the coffee break. I guess we'll jump in with TS's They'll Neglect to Tell You first. Let's talk about that. They'll Neglect to Tell You upcoming dates for a show, I believe.
Yes. So it's a one night only, January 30th. The festival will start at 7 o'clock. I am in, what do you call it? I don't know. It's too early in the morning. But I am with a group of 4 other plays who will be presenting that night. So I'm very excited. Gabe Moses is the producer for the live virtual new play reading festival. So it's an interesting process. And this will be the second time they'll neglect to tell you, has been given the opportunity to showcase since being written in 2015, I believe. So yeah.
Awesome.
Exciting.
What's the process been like? Why is it an interesting process?
The process was interesting because when I first wrote this piece, it started out as a 5-minute vignette for the Painted Bride Soul of Black Folks project. And so it was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this piece. It'll be 5 minutes. It's great. Then the piece got picked up by 1812 Productions, Jalene Ringel solo residency program. And I was like, whoa, okay. Got to do more work. Got to, like, add a little bit more like sauces and spices to this piece. And that was a beautiful experience because I got to share that residency process with Lois Moses, who was the director, videographer, and dramaturg on that piece. And man, it went from 5 minutes to a 1-act, just like that. And it got the opportunity to kind of like do a reading, another workshop within the Bridge PHL Theater Festival that had to go virtual last year because, the Rona. And I got to work. It was like the Rona. And I got to work with Lois again on that project. We got a chance to hire some actors for that work. Betsy B. Barr and Cinda Purnell were the ones who just kind of like orchestrated and brought breath to the pieces. And now we're here. It's 2021 and the piece gets to breathe again in a different way. Cinda is coming back to reprise her role as Mercy. We have a new addition to the team, India Knight, who will be stepping into the role of Grace. A fantastic director, Carly Robinson. Like, what? Don't know where she came from. Glad she came from somewhere because she is Black Girl Magic. And we have a new person who's going to be reading stage directions because it is a reading, and that is Michaela Johnson. So I do get to meet her later on today as we are still in rehearsals.
Awesome.
So yeah.
One of our regular commentators, Ardency Hall Karambe, the good doctor, is on with us, and we
Morning.
Good morning. I'd love to invite you to. I don't know if you're camera ready or camera shy this morning.
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
So good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
And then we also have our other special guest, Jorian Veintidos. If you would kind of introduce yourself and your pronouns and what it is you do.
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone. Everyone looks so beautiful today. My name is Jorian Veintidos. I go by he, him pronouns. I am the HIV Prevention Specialist Manager for GALE, which is a queer Latinx social justice organization, nonprofit in North Philadelphia. And I'm also part of the Community Control Leaderboard. I help with Jose and James and other leaders from our community built what we call the Black and Latinx Community Control, which I will be talking with y'all shortly about.
Awesome. And also one of our regular commentators, Chris Miller, is on screen now. Good morning, Chris. Feel free to introduce yourself and your pronouns.
Oh, sorry for speaking over you. Good morning, James. Good morning, everybody. I'm Chris. I am a union stagehand in Philadelphia with the IATSE when we're actually doing stuff. I go by he, him, they, them pronouns, and it's a glorious day to be alive. Happy to see everybody.
Good morning. So, just to continue the conversation with TS, sorry to interrupt the spot there, just to talk about everybody. Just folks join in when they get the chance to join in. So, I wanted to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves. I haven't seen your piece as it's developed. How did the 5 minute go?
I thought the 5 minute went great. It's like, I wrote it and then I had to present it as part of the bigger work within the Souls of Black Folks project. And it was an opportunity for me to look at Philadelphia with an observational lens, not as someone who found home and found space and found community here. Like really taking a moment to dissect it, breaking it apart for, you know, the beautiful, the bold, and the ugly that is Philadelphia. And I did that in 5 minutes. You know, I had to just do it in 5 minutes. So it was a journey turning a 5-minute work into a full 1-act production, and going from a solo piece to 2-character development piece. I was like, wow, who are these voices? Why are they talking to me? So it's still a journey. Even in rehearsals for this iteration for the performance, I was, as the writer, was still discovering new things, hearing it from new voices. So the piece that folks are hearing on Saturday necessarily will not be the piece they'll probably hear in the future because it has grown again.
Awesome. And so so you said it encompasses Philadelphia down into, well, no, what's now a two-person piece. What topic, how do you touch on Philadelphia? Like, what areas of Philadelphia do you touch on? I mean, like, Philadelphia is such a broad concept.
Philadelphia is a huge, huge broad concept. Those words, they are today because it's early in the morning. Okay. So we were introduced to Philadelphia by these 2 characters who graduated from university in Virginia and are making their journey and their pilgrimage to Philadelphia to just start new lives together with each other. So with them as kind of like our introduction to Philadelphia, the first place that we do touch upon is North Philly. After North Philly, we get to see where they work. And so they work in West Philly. So you get to watch them journey and travel. Then something happens in North Philly, which makes them move to South Philly. And so they spend the end of the play in South Philly, and the ripple comes in because one of the characters is like, oh, okay, well, you know, it's time to move on what this character thinks upward momentum looks like. So they're looking, you know, to branch out into like the Center City, Old City, Rittenhouse area, and that's where there's a wall, there's a rift, there's some miscommunication. So we are watching Philadelphia grow, expand, gentrify through their eyes. And the time span of this piece starts in 2014, and it cycles through to the end of 2020.
Great. That's absolutely great. And so I guess that also covers, like, if you have to have your characters wear masks or anything, if you cover in 2020, we got to talk about the Rona. Speaking of the Rona, I'm going to do a rough transition to Jorian here. My segues are crap lately. Sometimes they work great. Sometimes I just don't even realize I'm segueing. Whatever. It works. We're going to talk with Jorian a little bit too. And so thank you for bringing to our attention the show that you're doing. Again, it's January 30th. They'll neglect to tell you. There are links in all the chats for folks to follow to buy tickets, and we would love to see everyone who's watching the Coffee Break chat go check that out. Feel free to stick around and jump in on topics as we go through the day. That's how we do. Let's talk about Jorian and the Community Control of Healthcare Symposium, because that is also definitely tied to Rona and definitely tied to 2020. Let's find out how. Jorian.
Yes, thank you again. Thank you, TS. Thank you for that. It sounds inspiring. I can't wait to check it out. Great story. I'm glad it starts in North Philly, where I'm from. trying to see what the hood's all about, you know. But I'm here for it. I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad we get to see something that's coming from Philadelphia. That's about Philly, you know, because we kind of underestimate a little bit, but we're there. But again, hi everyone. My name is Jorian Veintidos. I go by he, him pronouns, and I'm just here to speak with y'all about the healthcare, the Black and Latina Community Control of Health Symposium. So a little bit about us. We are a committee of Black and Brown, positive, queer, transgender, and gender nonconforming community members. So we're literally just straight from the community. We come together with the same mission to do better for the community. So what we do is that we envision a world where our communities have full control over well-beings, over all their well-beings. So that means like hormones, medicine, as far as like any other underlying issues, HIV medication, or just being homeless, ability to where just think we're just fully capable of understanding that we have full control and power of our own well-being and what we want to bring to our own community. Now, what do you call it? Not Western medicine. We believe that we are rooted in the belief that we are the best experts in the matter of HIV prevention and care by virtue of of our lived experiences. We tackle our own survival tactics, and most notably, we believe that affects HIV prevention and care much addresses issues of housing stabilities, homelessness, and substance use with a strong focus on harm reduction. So we also feel like since we're all from Philadelphia, we believe that HIV is a very prevalent thing in our city, but we also feel like homelessness is very prevalent, substance abuse is very prevalent, IDUs is very prevalent, and we want to make sure that we tackle all aspects of our community in those senses because we want to make sure that they we want to make sure our community knows that we see them in their struggles and in their highs. We want to make sure we amplify those highs and make sure we take care of those struggles as a community and we tackle it together. We consider ourselves as a family almost, you know?
Right.
And we feel like, yes.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, you do have the community control symposium coming up. That's next weekend.
Yes, it's going to be February 6th. So to lead into that, we are having a symposium on February 6th, about a day long from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we are pretty much going to be tackling some everyday issues as far as intergeneration HIV, what does it look like over the last 40 years. We're having a crystal meth workshop. What does crystal meth look like in the city of Philadelphia with a further on breakout session. We have a lot going on that day. I'm trying to remember all of it.
We have
Um,
community control in the era of HIV and COVID-19.
yes, what
Talking
does
about.
community control look like in the era of COVID for the last year, and how does that integrate with HIV, and what does that look like? And we have a lot more stuff throughout the day. We're going to make sure it's very inclusive. We're going to make sure that everyone has a voice to be heard in the breakout session and in our workshops. We feel as though no voice should be on her, so we want to feel like it's a group collaborative effort in the workshop, even though we do have a presenter.
Awesome. So, and just to bring the conversation around to the panel here, what who here understands community control of healthcare / understands anything that we're talking about so far?
I'm learning.
That part, there was a lot of words in there. My brain was like, got it, awesome. I need to hear more. The beautiful thing, I just wanted to shout out, like Galay is awesome. Like Galay is awesome. So I'm so glad that you guys have are a staple here in Philadelphia, making space for queer, Black, and brown voices like that. That warms my heart to the nth degree. So thank you for all the work that you do to hold the community in health and wellness.
Thank you. And just to let you know, we did move locations. We're no longer at 149 Susquehanna. Galay is now at 118 Fontaine Street. The building used to be an art center, and we converted it into a new doable space for us. So it's brand new. Everything that's coming in. Once we get the actual official date of when we're going to open, we're going to give everyone a virtual tour because we have to be COVID physical distancing, and then everything will be by appointment. Because we have to make sure, again, for the safety of people trying to get tested, because we're going to be implementing HIV testing again once we open. So look out for those. But yes, thank you for trying to understand everything that I was trying to say for the community control of health. So pretty much what community control of health means um, is that we're no longer seeking answers kind of from doctors and looking for Western medicine. We're kind of we are looking for Western medicine because that's what's going to keep us there. But in a way, we're taking control holistically as a community. You know, we're kind of basing it off on roots and grassroots and root and culture and going from there and trying to get information from the community on what they need as far as their health concerns and not just what we think doctors are just going to give us everyday medication. Like we really go into it like what community control of health also falls into not just medicine health, it falls into stability, housing stability, it falls into homelessness, it falls into getting fed every night, it falls into having a place to sleep. That's what it means by taking control of our health. Our health is everything that we embody in ourselves, as both internally and externally. So that's why we say community control. We're taking control of our well-being, of our lives as individuals and as a community and as a family.
And for those in the various broadcasts and for everybody here, I pasted the link to the symposium sign up on the chats. I do highly encourage everybody to apply. There is no ticket fee, and it is a great learning experience. If you want to find out from the community about what community of control of health is, please do attend. It's a long day. We're gonna take breaks. We're gonna have some fun audience interaction. We're gonna talk serious topics, but we want to make sure that everybody is well taken care of, and the accessible nature of it. We'll have a broadcast that has subtitles in English. If any of the folks signing up need translation services or anything like that, please let us know. We can make those services available. So we're more than happy to make those services available if they're not available yet, because we do want to be accessible for this conversation. So another rough segue, because our guests this morning don't all fit in the same range. We have Robin Dorton. Robin, welcome. And Robin is currently doing crochet. You're selling it on Etsy mostly right now?
Mostly Etsy, yeah. I just opened my Etsy shop, I guess about 9 months ago. And yeah, so it's going pretty well. It's getting some momentum.
So when I was talking about Robin, so it's Robin's Nest Market on Etsy. Excuse me, and I will paste that in the chats. Robin's Nest Market, you do have a lot of fine crochet goods, and you have a relatively unique line of crocheted penises.
I think we settled on peni.
I did have some folks ask me if they are hard or soft.
Cheers.
It depends on how much stuffing I put in, but you can order hard or soft. You can order a semi. I mean that happens. Yeah.
What inspired you to go this route with your crochet? No, this is an earnest question. I'm interested to know.
Well, okay, so I've worked with James previously. I used to do hair. I used to own a pretty successful hair salon, and I was diagnosed about, I guess, 5 years ago with multiple sclerosis. And I kept like pushing through and working way too hard and basically killing my body, and to the point where it just wasn't doing it anymore. So had to close my salon, and I spent like a year trying to figure out what was next for myself. But I knew it had to be something creative. And I remembered that my mom and grandmother taught me how to crochet as a kid. But we did like blankets and things. And I was like, okay, well, that's cute and stuff, but
A little bit more traditional crocheting.
right. And then I was seeing how people were making like these stuffed animals, and I thought, what would be a funny stuffed animal? And I don't know. I have no idea. I started crocheting one day and it looked like a little ball, and then I was like, huh. And then after the ball, I was like, well, maybe if I put two together, and then I figured out how to make the shaft, and it was. I even
you're
added,
a woman
like,
after
the
my own
baby.
heart. Okay.
It's just, yeah.
So you're saying it's something that rose up naturally on its own.
Yes, it does. And then I was like, well, how can I accessorize? So I added different types of pubic hair. Some have it, some don't. Different colors. I added squeakers.
Do you have any with like a little hat or anything like a little top hat or anything like that?
A little top hat, yes. Squeakers were fun.
Squeakers.
Yep. Oh, and then I made them really little, and I added catnip so that they're really fun cat toys, and the cats go crazy for them.
Oh, you know what? My partner would probably love that. I'll let her know about that. She might.
I'm thinking my kitties might like those too.
Yeah, they're pretty funny, especially when you see the cat like attacking it. It's a good
Well, that might be funny for you. It's a little nerve-wracking for me, but I could probably get used
yeah. Yep. My husband's not. My husband, every time I get an order on Etsy, there's like this little cha-ching noise in my phone, and every time he hears that, he's just like, no.
Eyes roll into the back of his head.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's strange. That's my top seller. I can make sweaters and stars and all kinds of pretty stuff, but the little willies are my top seller.
Do you call them little willies?
Little willies, yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's what I call them.
That's a great name. Love
Yeah,
it.
you got like a whole brand going and everything. That's awesome.
I do, yeah. And I'm still working on it, but I'm going to be working on the vagina as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm getting there.
Getting there.
That's it.
We're gonna do a photo shoot in the, I don't know when. We keep putting it off because Robin and I have worked together for many years, and so we get these crazy ideas, and then we try and do them, and then it just ends up we just end up postponing until both of us are free to do something. But we're gonna do a photo shoot with some of these crochet goods. We definitely have a couple of ideas. There's more than just the P9. There's much more than just the P9. What else have you been working on as far as crochet goods?
I actually started doing like sweaters and clothing. That's a little bit different though. Like I made my cousin Emily, I made her this really cute sweater that's got like deliberate distressing, which hasn't really been done a lot in crochet that I've seen. So stepping out of the box a little bit with that. And I just saw some really cute knitwear on Zara. And I figured, maybe I'll take a little bit of inspiration from that, and just make it like a little bit more unique.
Awesome. Well, thank you for bringing your crochet goods to our attention. They are unique and beautiful, and just like you. And I only say that because I've known you for so long. You are a unique and beautiful person.
Thank you.
Oh, that was wholesome.
The wholesome content folks are looking for.
That's what I'm here for.
So yeah, crocheted crocheted willies are wholesome content.
Yes.
That's the hot take for today. The crocheted willies are wholesome content. Let me pull up my title card here because there's a ton of stuff going on in the news right now. So we are talking about healthcare a little bit. We're talking about healthcare because community control of healthcare is important. We're here in Philadelphia. The rollout of the vaccine here in Philadelphia has been criticized rather heavily, and rather appropriately heavily, because the city of Philadelphia decided for its main vaccine rollout to not even issue a contract, but basically do a handshake agreement with somebody who's a friend of a person on city council. This friend of a person on city council is a young man. He's an entrepreneur. He was a filmmaker. He's been in college for the last couple of years. I don't believe he even has a degree yet.
No, he's 22. He's working on a 5-year degree. He's a degree that takes 5 years, so he's 22. He's close to graduating, but he has not yet.
That answers that question. Sorry, I don't have all the background info this morning. This is all just coming out. Our local PBS affiliate one of their reporters did extensive reporting on this situation, and did a lot of investigative reporting, which has then been picked up by the for-profit newspapers and reported on further. Anyway, essentially, this young man decided that he would be able to take on the responsibility of distributing vaccines for a once-in-a-century pandemic in the city of Philadelphia, and really blew it. Really blew it. So he started collecting folks' info so that he could create sign-up lists, and then changed the status of his company from applying for a nonprofit organization status to a for-profit company, and also changed the privacy policy that he proposed to the city of Philadelphia from keeping everybody's information private, as he should, since this is in seeking of healthcare and could possibly be violating several laws with regard to health information and privacy by sharing this information that people are giving him. And created a privacy policy that completely violates that and put it on his website that says he can share whatever information you give him with whomever he wants. They have as a company, they have since reversed that policy, so don't worry if you did give them your information. That information is now safe. It cannot be sold, but that was what caused the massive break between the city of Philadelphia and the service provider, this young man who basically decided that he would be able to somehow provide this service for the city of Philadelphia. At any rate, there is a new website. I'm working on pulling up the URL. covidvaccineinterest.phl.gov. This is .phila.gov. This is run by the city of Philadelphia, and it is a safe place to submit your info because this is the city of Philadelphia itself maintaining this information. And so I'm pasting that information in the chats now. And it just basically is how you get your information on where you can get your vaccinations if you're so inclined. I highly recommend submitting your info to this URL with your correct health info. You will get this will allow the city of Philadelphia just to contact you with information about the COVID vaccine and when you might be eligible to get it. The Black Doctors Consortium is also collecting information and distributing vaccines here in the Philadelphia area. And that is another good place to send your info if you feel eligible to send it there. I mean, we want community control of healthcare, obviously, but I don't know that that's exactly the direction we want to go, giving our info to young fellas who happen to be friends of folks on city council. Is
there any investigation or anything going on as far as is anybody going to be held accountable for this individual basically getting this contract or this agreement, this handshake deal, that was, he clearly was not in a position to really do a great job with this, and then on top of that tried to change his whole model to now be for profit, which seems shady at best. Do you know if there's anything as far as accountability for that going to city council, or are we just kind of letting that one?
There's supposed to be accountability.
Right.
One would guess that there's accountability, but as with anything, if we choose to investigate ourselves and then find ourselves not complicit in any sort of way, what more is there to say?
Yeah. Where have I heard that story before?
I don't know, Philadelphia cops, state cops. So there's supposed to be some investigations going on and will be started soon. Who knows what actually happens? I mean, this is literally breaking information, it's changing by the hour, so we will see. We'll definitely see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm constantly flabbergasted by city council and the city government of Philadelphia. It's always amazing what they do and don't decide to care about.
You'd think the COVID vaccine rollout would be something of a fairly high priority. You might want to really vet whoever you're putting in a position to be involved with the rollout of a vaccine for, as you pointed out, a once in a century pandemic that has killed thousands of people in our community. You'd think that'd be a fairly high priority to get right.
You'd think. I don't know.
I'm trying to feign surprise and shock you. I'm really trying.
I mean, I don't know.
This is why I'm a stagehand and not an actor.
Yeah. I mean, we can also feign surprise and shock at the PUA and unemployment compensation extension rollout.
Swimmingly too, yeah.
That went well. That went well. For those that don't know, Pennsylvania, as with all other states, received funding to extend unemployment compensation for an additional 11 weeks, starting the week ending January 2nd, so beginning the last week of December, first week of January. And it must be distributed by March. All of the funds from it must be distributed by March. So basically, if you get that 11-week extension, you have to start receiving it right at the beginning to get all of that 11-week extension. But it also saves the federal government some money, because if you were unemployed later in the pandemic and are still receiving some benefits from things like extended benefits or PUA, sorry, not PUA, PEUC, then you might be receiving those benefits still and won't get the full 11 weeks of extension. You'll just get whatever remains. That's all well and good. It brings us out to mid-March, whatever. There'll be another fight for another extension and another 11 weeks or whatever at that point. Problem being that Donnie Douche-Canoe decided to throw a hissy fit when this extension was proposed and passed by Congress, and wait in exactly 1 day too long to sign it into law. Signed it into law on December 26th, which made every program around the nation expire because the original CARES Act expired on December 25th. So, he signed it a day too late. That put a week delay in everybody's benefits. Everybody got a week without pay for Christmas. That's where we are with that. This also caused a bunch of issues for all the state regulatory agencies that need to roll out this program. They have to figure out if you're on extended benefits or on PUA or on PUC or on anything else. And then they also have to figure out if you're eligible for the 11-week extension, because the rules are different, of course. Why wouldn't they be? And then they need to figure out, how to re-enroll you if you became unenrolled because of the December 26th end of benefits. So, they had all these people expire off the system. As of last Friday, as of last Friday, they opened the re-enrollment process. So folks that are contractors were able to go on the pandemic unemployment assistance website, log into their dashboard, and try and file a weekly claim, be told that they need to reopen their claim, and click on reopen. If only it were that simple. They then everybody was faced with basically creating a new claim, even though the extension is literally based on your old data. It's based on last year's data. It's based on 2019 claims. It's an extension of the original CARES Act. It has nothing to do with what happened in 2020. Why DLI decided to ask for all the information from 2020, no one knows. I've talked with lawyers from Philadelphia Legal Assistance. I've talked with advocates from Philadelphia Unemployment Project. I've talked with people from DLI. Nobody knows. So they chose to reopen it this way. Everybody had problems filling out those forms, and then. Obviously, it was Friday, so it wasn't a claim week yet. They made everybody wait till Sunday to put in their weekly claims. On that Sunday claim, they were supposed to be able to file weeks ending January 2nd, January 9th, and January 20th, and then the January 23rd or whatever it was, whatever the end of last week was. So they were supposed to be able to file basically all their back claims that week. January 2nd, January 9th, January 16th, and January 23rd. Instead of allowing everybody to file all those claims, they only allowed folks to file January 23rd. And in an interview, which I watched yesterday, the interview was yesterday, the acting secretary of the Department of Labor in Pennsylvania said that she does not know why any of those weeks weren't available to claim, but that they should have been, and that she will work to make sure that they are available to claim this week. So hopefully, folks, they fix the problems. I'm sorry to everyone who is without money and really needs it. You're going to get it slightly after the 1st, because you'll probably get it by the 3rd, assuming they fix everything by this Sunday. but we are already this morning hearing some problems with people not getting their deposits. And I'll be doing a little bit of investigation into that later today. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the investigation this morning. Deposits were supposed to come out midnight for claims on Sunday. Folks are reporting that they're not getting them. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know employment status of everybody on, but if a lot of us are either fun employed, as Chris likes to put it, or unemployed. I know I'm partially employed. I'm a gig worker, and so I qualify for pandemic unemployment assistance. And I highly encourage everybody who is a gig worker like me, who may or may not be making money this week, to go apply for pandemic unemployment assistance. Go apply, you qualify. You qualify just so long as you worked and can prove that you worked in 2019, then you qualify for pandemic unemployment assistance. And assuming that any given week you earn less than your average week in your best quarter of 2019. I know this is a lot of technical terminology. So to put it simply, a quarter is 3 months. Take your best 3 months of 2019, divide it by 4. Assuming any week this year you earn less than what that number is, you qualify for at least partial benefits. So go ahead and apply and file. And if you make money, it's okay. File, tell them you made money. Same thing if you qualify for regular UC. If you had a W-2 job in 2019 and you now don't, apply for regular UC and say, hey, I should qualify. If you make money, it's okay. I have had this question a million times on all the forums that are out there. People are like super afraid of the unemployment office. Don't be. They're just regular people. And the rules sort of make sense. Like they make mistakes all the time, but the rules make sense. If you're unemployed, or even if you are partially employed, you qualify for the state to pay you the difference between what you should be making and what you are making. So go get your money, please. I don't know if any of y'all have any comments about go get your money, but I constantly tell people to go get their money.
Always get your money. Get your money.
Yeah, get that money.
Always get your money. It's just upsetting that people have to go jump through so many hoops and whistles to get things that they are rightfully owed.
Because it's not hard for them to take it. They take it real easy, but giving it back, they seem to have so many struggles.
What do you mean that run me my money? It's always like run me my
money. Go get me my money.
and that's why some
tell me
people,
where the money is. I'll go get it myself. Like
right.
Where are you keeping the money? I will save you the trouble. Right. Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of people, they just get so disenchanted. They're just like, you know what, forget about it. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I've listened to some people, they said it's easier to just get a loan from the bank than it is to go get the money that they are entitled to. So now they're putting themselves in positions to be deeper and deeper in debt, because being in debt is easier than getting what you're owed.
Yeah, see, you use this word entitled, and I just want to point out, just as a rhetorical point, a lot of times with government assistance or any kind of social safety net that gets kind of slurred as a entitlement, this is something you're actually entitled to. This is your money. If you worked, especially if you're W-2, you worked, you paid into this. And if you worked at all, you pay taxes. This is our money. This is a fund. This is not.
I'm going to say something that's controversial. Even things that are classified as entitlements, you are entitled to. because the government makes no money on its own. It gets its money from the citizens. So
that part.
every part of the social system of the government, all of it is coming out of the people's pockets because we want our citizens to live at a certain level. And the government becomes mealy mouth in handing it out. They make it difficult to get money that doesn't belong to them. They're the third party.
That part.
It's literally
that
monopoly.
Part. That's why they have people out here trying to rush back to work, dying of the Rona, because they realize, oh, our pockets are looking a little thin. We need to put these people back to work. Not like the whole trickle down of stupidity was just nuts. It was just nuts.
Never
so people out here dying to try to make their money because they can't get the money that they've already made. You tried it.
Trickle down stupidity is probably the best description of Reaganomics I've ever heard.
And it is stupidity. I mean, like, I don't know how many. I encounter. We did a disservice in my generation and the generation slightly before mine and the generation slightly after mine of teaching kids in school supply side economics. Literally from Reagan on, all the school, like in 6th grade, you start learning economics, and they taught you supply side economics. Supply side economics is bullshit. Okay, I can't stress it enough. Supply side economics is complete horseshit. It doesn't make sense. It never works out. If you look at the real world, supply side economics is bullshit. What actually happens is when people start producing more, and that's whether it's money or goods, they spend more, and once they spend more, then the economy increases and people can produce more because more people can buy more, etc., etc., etc. It's all demand side. You know, if people have no money to spend, there is no demand, prices decrease, you end up not having an economy. Supply side, you could have 1,000 coconuts on a desert island and have no customers.
Yeah, a lot of good customers, right?
Yeah,
you better like coconut milk.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we have this weird duality when talking about economics in this country where, you know, you hear about like free market economics and how, you know, the market forces will sort things out and that will lead to the best outcomes and the best products being produced. And then but by the same token, we'll also teach and indoctrinate people supply side economics. So it's already like sort of self-contradictory, like, you know, just the whole concept of conservative economics. If you're going to sit here and talk about free market economics and then espouse supply side trickle down economics as like a viable model, like it's self-contradictory.
Yep. So I wanted to talk. I do want to talk about one more thing before we get off today. It's 2 minutes till, and I made folks who are small business owners hold out for this information. I know it's in the title, and I know we didn't talk about it thus far. The PPP and the EIDL. I just, you know, a lot of us on this call are small business owners. We own and operate our own small businesses. If you are a sole proprietor, if you provide goods or services as an individual to other people, whether those are customers or whether those are other businesses, it doesn't matter. You're a sole proprietor. You are, in fact, a business. That means that you qualify to apply for the PPP and or the EIDL. If you are in the business of producing and or promoting theater or events or film or a number of other things, you also might qualify for this Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. So that's a little piece of info that you might want to wait on before you apply for your PPP because they're mutually exclusive. What are the PPP and EIDL? PPP, obviously, if you haven't heard, gives you a loan to cover 8 weeks. It's supposed to cover basically 8 weeks of what is your normal outlay for payroll. If you're a sole proprietor, that means what you would normally earn in 8 weeks as a sole proprietor. And you can base that on any 8 weeks from your 2019 income. So you can tell the bank that's loaning you the money, you can make a worksheet and show them your invoices for 8 weeks of 2019 and say, here's what I earned in 8 weeks. And they will provide you a loan that matches that income. You can also get the EIDL. The EIDL is a grant program, which is also supposed to cover another 8 weeks of your normal payroll, and a little bit more for rent or whatever you're paying on a building, things that are related to business expenses. Not supplies, though, which is a weird exemption. So these programs are out there. The Shelter Venue Operators Grant is actually 6 months, similar to the PPP. It's 6 months of payroll, basically. Not all the info is out on the Shelter Venue Operators Grant, so we don't know exactly how they're going to administrate it, but it'll be very similar. And again, go get your money. I can't stress this enough. I keep saying it, but go get your money. These programs are out there, and they're more tailored to folks like us who are small businesses, super small business, micro business, sole proprietors. They even rolled it back from 500 employees per location down to 300 just to make sure that folks would be able to apply for this money and get it. And it's out there. It's money out there to help the economy grow again, because even congressional Republicans understand that you need money to go into the small end of the economy in order to keep the economy running. Any of you all applied for PPP or EIDL? I know I did, but
I tried.
You tried?
I tried.
I would say no, I have not, but Delay is full on supporting those who do need it. We can go ahead and get your unemployment and also get y'all into medical care for those who have lost medical care because they lost their job or whatever that's the reason. So even though we're not physically open, we are still open virtually to get y'all the support that y'all need as far as unemployment and medical care.
Great.
We're applying. My company is applying soon.
Awesome. Yeah, I did the first round of PPP, got a pretty good loan. I'm going to do probably the second round of PPP. I'm not sure if Light Thief Productions will qualify for the SVOG. Seems like the Shutter Venue Operators Grant will be tied mostly to folks with brick and mortar, and so the PPP might be our only option. And we did the first round of EIDL. Interesting thing about how the EIDL was rolling out this round is they're supposed to be looking up folks who got the grant in the first round and didn't get the full grant portion, the full $10,000 grant, and providing them the remainder of that $10,000 grant before they start distributing money as loans. So it's going to be interesting to see how that rolls out. The SBA is going through leadership changes. Obviously, it's no longer going to be under Carranza. It's going to be under, I'm sorry, I've forgotten the name, whoever Joe Biden nominates for the leader of the SBA. But the SBA administrates all three of these programs, and so we'll have to see what happens with that. Some of the PPP loan is already out there. Some banks are already taking applications, especially minority-based banks and banks based in areas of low income. So there are economic empowerment zone banks that already are taking applications. Also, some of the tech banks like Bluevine, PayPal, etc., are taking PPP loan applications. The only thing I would say is if you work in the arts, hold off on your PPP application, just because you might qualify for the SVOG. As I said, there's no information on how that's going to be administered out there, so I would just say hold off. There's plenty of money in the PPP program. You're not going to miss out. I'd say hold off for the next like 2-3 weeks.
A quick question about the PPP program, though. That is a forgivable loan, right? Like, am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, Chris. That's exactly correct.
So what does that mean for a business owner when you get that loan? Is that you then have to account what you've spent the money on, and if you've spent the money on payroll and the other qualifying things, then the loan can be forgiven, correct?
Correct. So yeah, the PPP is a forgivable loan. It basically turns into a grant if you use it for forgivable purposes. The main forgivable purpose is payroll, which is great, especially for a sole proprietor. As a sole proprietor, you pay yourself through, if you have your business separate from your own finances, it's really easy to pay yourself through a bank transfer or through a check, and do it as an owner draw. It doesn't affect your taxes in any way. That's how most sole proprietors pay themselves, is through owner draw. And so you owner draw your money into your own personal bank account, and that is a payroll payment. Split it up.
Do you have to have like an LLC or a tax identification number as a business, or if you are, say, a freelance worker in say the entertainment industry, can you apply using your Social Security and declare yourself sort of a company in that sense?
The rules do change a little bit when applying as a sole proprietor with your own Social Security number. Yes, you can apply as a sole proprietor with your own Social Security number. However, it changes the maximums in the way that you can write it off. And it also changes the write-offs. So you will almost be guaranteed, if you apply as a sole proprietor and you don't set up an LLC to take care of this, or didn't have an LLC set up in January of 2020. If you didn't have an LLC set up as in January 2024, go ahead and apply, but apply for less. If you read the rules, there's a certain amount which you can get forgiveness for as a sole proprietor. I believe it is up to $23,000. Make sure you stay below that maximum, because as a sole proprietor applying with your Social Security number, it almost guarantees that you'll owe them some money in loan repayments, but those loan repayments end up being like $20 a month at most, with the maximums that you can apply for. So even if you don't get it fully written off as a forgivable loan, it's worth applying for. It's worth taking. Take the loan. And hey, if you have up to 39 weeks to spend it on forgivable purposes. So if you can't figure out within 39 weeks how to spend it on a forgivable purpose, pay it all back. Then you won't suffer any sort of penalties. I'd apply for forgiveness first anyway. But yeah, so take a look into the program. Even if you don't have an LLC, even if you don't have separated bank accounts for your business purposes, etc., definitely take a look at it. If you have any questions about it, I can hook you up. I can hook folks up with financial wizards who service folks at the low end of the spectrum, like us. So more than happy to do that. Just drop us a DM on social media or drop us an email to any of our email addresses, and I'll be happy to connect folks that need any extra info. I'm not an expert on all this stuff. I have been through it myself, so I'm more than happy to connect folks.
Yeah, that was going to sort of be my follow-up question too, is for people who are feeling a little bit intimidated by all the bureaucracy and all the paperwork, and like you're just kind of like, I don't know if I can even figure out how to do this. You know, what's a good resource? And the answer is you.
Yeah, I'm a good resource in that I connect people. It's half of what the job of production is just connecting people. And so
the other thing is the PPP. When you apply, you're typically applying through a bank, correct? Like you would go to your bank.
Yes,
and apply.
The PPP is only applied through a bank. Here in Philadelphia,
theoretically, your bank should be able to assist you with applying correctly as well.
They normally call you. They'll call you and let you know if you qualify for the loan.
Okay.
And if you have a relationship with if you only have relationships with bigger banks, and you live here in Philadelphia, I highly recommend talking to Republic Bank. It is a small bank, only like 17 branches, and they are taking PPP applications for folks that don't have a prior relationship with them and that are sole proprietors, even if the loan amount is very small. The reason why this is important, and sorry I'm dragging this out this morning out, but this is important information for folks. The bank gets a percentage of what the loan is. That's how the bank gets repaid for doing all the work of taking these applications and administrating the loans. So a lot of the bigger banks like Chase and other banks that have existing relationship, Wells, all of the banks that individuals have relationships with that are huge banks, they don't really want to do all this work for a $20,000 loan. They want the $1.2 million loan that some of the bigger companies are getting, because they get a percentage of it. And it's the same amount of work whether they're doing a $1.2 million loan or doing a $20,000 loan. So why would they want to service us? So you need to look for smaller banks, economic impact banks, banks that service individuals. So like I said, Blue Vine is an internet bank that services small companies and is accepting new clients for the PPP. Here in Philadelphia, Republic Bank, you will have to visit the bank to get your loan. So you'll probably have to visit the bank to get your loan or to do some sort of paperwork. So I only recommend them if you live in Philadelphia. There are other banks and corporations. I can't remember the name of the one. There's the Enterprise Center here in Philadelphia. The Enterprise Center is amongst some of the financial advisor corporations that are banks in and of themselves that do advise people who are people of color or economically live in economically impacted areas and are taking PPP loan applications. I highly recommend Republic just because that's who I went through. They were very easy to work with. They accepted my documentation even though it wasn't based on my full year taxes, which is what most of the bigger banks want to look at. I wanted to base it off of a specific 8-week period because as a freelancer, my money goes up and down. So my full year does not look as good as one 8-week period. And they were perfectly willing to accept an 8-week period of 2019. And this is another important thing. If you didn't apply during round 1, you can still apply for round 1 PPP loans. So you can still get both loans at this point. You can apply for a round 1 PPP and then apply for a round 2 PPP. Republic doesn't have round 2 PPP applications open yet even. They're still taking round 1 PPP applications. So feel free to apply for round 1 even if you haven't yet. Like I said, if you need any advice, I'm happy to answer questions. I can hook you up with folks who can answer questions on a more professional level. But go get your money.
That's now the unofficial motto of the coffee talk. Go get your money.
Go get your money. Go get me my money. So I'd like to thank all our guests. I know it's
James,
quarter after.
before you leave today, let me plug something, darling, real fast.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I wanted to share a screen real fast. I'm a poet in a collection of books called 2020, Philly Johns for Women Revisited, Anthology of Poetry in tribute to Nina Simone. And so 40 women poets here in the city. Thank you, James. 40 women poets here in the city have come together to create this book that is edited by Deborah Powell Wright, and just wonderful women from, I'm going to pronounce Lorraine Clary Carey to myself, from known to unknown, but it's a wonderful collection of poetry concentrating on Nina Simone and her work. And I'm also going to plug my documentary on the Church of the Advocate, which appears on WHYY February 10th. So just wanted to share those two things that I have coming out soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Hall. And thank you to all of my guests. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Sorry, I'm switching around views here. Just give me 1 second. In a weird view. Anyway, that should be better. Let's do it this way. Sorry, this is all messed up right at the moment. There we go. So I wanted to thank all of my guests. Thank you to T.S. Hawkins. Thank you to Jorian Veintidos. Thank you to Robin Dorton. Thank you to Chris Miller and Dr. Hall Karambe, the, as always, amazing doctor. And thank you to everyone who tuned in online and stayed the extra 15 minutes. I really appreciate it. We try and share good info for the community, and by the community and for the community. We will be back next Wednesday, 10 a.m. as always. Excuse me. Please join us next Wednesday. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please share on your networks. Folks can watch the rebroadcast, take their time with any of the segments that they want to. I'm gonna start clipping out some segments and posting them on Philly Plain Dealer as well. I'm a contributor over there, and I will start sharing them out there as well, so folks can watch on Light Thief Productions. They can watch on Philly Plain Dealer, and they can watch on Light Thief Productions on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff going on.
You would do better than name the ones you aren't on, rather than name the ones you are on.
This is where you can't find Light Thief Productions.
There's a few places. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, and I really appreciate your joining us, talking about these important topics for the community, and I welcome you back again next week. Tune in, and we will see you then.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.